One question can interrupt the story we've been telling ourselves about how organized we are, about how on top of things we think we should be. Welcome to One Question, a short weekly reflection to help you reconnect with your body, your values, and your truth. This week's question is, how do I treat myself when I drop the ball? So here's a confession. I forgot to record this episode. I meant to post One Question on Sundays. It's Monday. It was almost 11 in the morning before it occurred to me that I hadn't even done it. There's no dramatic reason, no crisis, just life. And the funny thing is, I'm really quite organized. I use calendars, I have systems, I care about consistency, and I take my commitment seriously. And still, this slipped. It slipped my mind, it slipped right through the cracks, which immediately raised a much more interesting question than, how did I forget? The question was, how am I going to respond to this? Because most of us don't struggle with forgetting once in a while. We struggle with how harsh we become afterward. That internal commentary, the self-judgment, the quiet but familiar voice that says, really, you forgot? You of all people. And what fascinates me is how quickly we turn a small human moment into a character assessment. I forgot something becomes, I'm unreliable, I'm sloppy, I'm not as together as people think I am. And we don't just do this to ourselves. We do it to others too. Someone misses a deadline, forgets to reply, drops something that they said they'd do. And suddenly, we're telling stories about their commitment, their priorities, their respect. When in reality, most of the time, it's just this. They're human. They're holding a lot, and something else took precedent for that moment. From a nervous system perspective, this makes complete sense. When we are under pressure, stressed, tired, or mentally overloaded, our brains prioritize survival and immediacy, not perfection. Details slip, timing slips. Even things we care deeply about can slip. That's not a personal failing, that's biology. And yet, culturally, we're taught that competence looks like never dropping anything, always remembering, always delivering, always being on it. So when we don't meet that impossible standard, the reaction is often shame. And shame is wildly unhelpful because shame doesn't make us more reliable. It just makes us more anxious. So for me, instead of spiraling this morning, I tried something else. I noticed it, I smiled, and I asked a better question. How do I want to treat myself when I drop the ball? With humor? With grace? With a quick reset instead of a punishment? And then I widened it. How do I want to treat other people when they forget? Do I assume carelessness, or do I leave room for context? Because the way we respond in these small moments tells us a lot about our values. Do we value consistency over compassion, perfection over humanity? Or do we allow for the fact that life is not a closed system? So yes, I forgot to post. And instead of letting that become a problem, I decided to let it become the practice. So I'll leave you with this week's question. How do I treat myself when I drop the ball? And maybe a second one if you're feeling very brave. How do I treat others when they drop the ball? Because forgetting isn't the issue. The response is. Thank you for joining me for One Question. If this episode made you smile or feel a little more forgiving towards yourself, that's the point. None of us are meant to be machines. Until next week, be kind to yourself, laugh when you can, and always ask better questions.